Hey, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Chris.
This is Mike and Chris Reloaded. Tonight we're going to be talking about pretty famous actor Gene Wilder. Just going over some thoughts and feelings we have about him.
Yeah, it's not really any type of tribute thing. It's more of just kind of remembering him and remembering how he was. And in my opinion, he was one of the kind of the better actors of our generation. Even though he was nominated for like 4 Academy Awards, never won one.
No, he didn't.
Which is really sad because I mean he's actually brilliant.
Oh yeah, he did. He won he won 1968 Best Supporting Actor for The Producers.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I was misinformed.
Yeah, he did win one.
I knew he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, he was nominated, but he won the 1968 award for Best Supporting Actor for The
Okay.
Producers.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, which The Producers is great film anyway.
No, sadly, I mean, as much as I like the guy, I've never watched The Producers.
Oh, really?
No, didn't get...
Oh, that's a great film. I've seen pretty much most all of his movies. A lot of them he was involved in writing them.
Yeah.
And in fact, he quoted in saying he'd rather write a movie than act in a movie. He felt he wasn't that good of an actor, but he was a better writer.
Right. Yeah, him and Mel Brooks had a special kind of relationship where they wrote together quite a bit.
Oh yeah, they were great. I remember watching. In fact, right after he passed, Mel Brooks was on the Tonight Show, and he talked about how he first met Gene Wilder, which is a really great story. If you can actually YouTube it if you wanted to. I mean, real quick, he goes in and he's watching a play that Gene Wilder's in, Death of a Salesman, and he goes in the back and he says. He tells him, he says, hey, I've got the script I'm writing called The Producers. And he says, you are my Leo Bloom. You're him. Hands down. He goes, we're trying to work on getting the money. When we get the money, you're Leo Bloom. And he's like, okay, yeah, whatever, Well, Mel Brooks said they got the money. He went back to him like a couple weeks later, went back to his dressing room, threw the script right on his desk, and he said, you're Leo Bloom.
Yeah.
He said Gene Wilder stood up, started crying, and gave him a big hug.
Yeah, I watched that video. That was pretty touching.
It was great. And just to see Mel Brooks the way he is at 90-some years old, jumping around like a butterfly was funny too. But yeah, a lot of his films, I mean, some obviously are not more memorable than others. Of course, one of his biggest ones he did, Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody remembers that thing.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't have remade it.
No.
I mean, that movie will stand the test of times. I mean, it's like The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's just one of those movies that every child from now till the end of eternity will watch at one point in their life.
Yeah, well, which is funny too because he actually had a lot of input in that movie too.
Did
he? He actually. There's certain things in that movie that he wanted to do that it wasn't written in the script, and he said, we need to do this. This is the way it's supposed to be. Like the part where he's walking out on the cane, and he leaves his cane stuck, and he falls over and rolls up. That wasn't originally in the script. Said he wanted to do that to show that people that were coming in that you don't know what's real and what's not real.
Right.
So which is part of I guess Willy Wonka's kind of mystique. You
Right.
know? But it was, by far I think that was one of his best ones.
Yeah, there's a little interesting fact too about Willy Wonka. It was actually from a screenplay from 1964, so that movie is ancient in terms of how long that story's been going around.
Yeah, and actually it was originally Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was originally the original book.
Yeah.
And it was about basically Charlie Bucket getting the ticket, on the ticket. It's the synopsis basically is the whole Candyland place, and he's just trying to find a successor. Willy Wonka is, he's been running the place forever. But I remember Kent was actually telling me a story about that, the glass elevator.
Yeah.
That was actually never in there either. Apparently, everyone who directed it and the producers and stuff got everything together, and couldn't come up with an ending. Well, Gene Wilder was out, I guess, skiing somewhere, whatever, and they called him like, look, we got it all put together and everything else, but we don't know what to do about the ending. And he goes, well, simple, just, have him go up in the elevator, crash through the thing, he's floating around, blah, 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 passes it off to Charlie. And he's like, oh, that's great. He goes, yeah, I'll be back in 2 weeks, we'll film a little bit extra, and we done. So, yeah, Gene Wilder pretty much come up with the ending of that.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, which is the next book was, Charlie in the glass elevator.
Yeah.
So.
Which I never read, because
No.
I don't read.
No,
It's a crime.
He doesn't.
I read news. I know I've said it before, but
He reads reading, but he doesn't read writing.
that's right. Exactly. So, the next movie that was on my list here is Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Sex But Was Afraid to Ask. I tried to watch this movie, but the copy I got was in Latin or Spanish or something, so I couldn't. I tried to just follow through a lip sync or lip read, but I couldn't watch it. So.
He got some bad lip reading.
Yeah, I'm terrible at lip reading. I would have made a terrible cop.
I will admit I've seen pretty much just about every one of his movies. I mean, I didn't go through and watch them all again. There's some that stick out a lot more than others.
Well, this was a Woody Allen film, so this was a little bit different for him.
Yeah.
Woody Allen was the major star of the show.
And see, I've never been a huge Woody Allen fan. It's kind of that trendy comedic style, and I don't really like it.
Nah, I'm not a Woody Allen fan either, but Gene played the doctor, basically the shrink of the show is what I get the gist of the show. He played like a shrink that was helping a couple out or something like that.
I'm thinking it was sex therapy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I didn't want to say the word sex.
you already did like twice.
Damn it. Why didn't you tell me? My kid's behind me. So,
You said it in the title.
no, I didn't. I bleeped it out. Didn't you hear it?
No.
Oh.
We haven't got that far in the editing process, man. Sorry.
Damn it. I tried. But your favorite one was Blazing Saddles.
Oh, absolutely. I love Blazing Saddles, man. Just that movie birthed, I don't know how many, phrases and sayings from it. Any type of memes. I mean, that movie, it's like you talked about, Willy Wonka standing the test of time. Blazing Saddles, to me, is going to stand the test of time.
Oh, yeah.
For several reasons. One, they can never, ever make a movie like that nowadays.
No.
That is by far the absolutely most racist movie I think I've ever watched.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But here's the thing, though, man. Back then, it didn't matter.
No.
People laughed it off. And you actually had a black man as the protagonist. He was the hero. You know what I'm saying? He, helped everybody out, did everything, proved himself.
Yep, Cleveland Little.
Yep, Cleavon Little. Of course, Gene Wilder played Jim.
Jim.
Some people called him Jim.
Yep. Who was a really good gunslinger, except he had a case of the shakes.
The Waco Kid.
Yep.
It also had a myriad of actors and actresses in it, too. Harvey Korman was in it. Of course, Mel Brooks was in it. Alex Karras, who was a football player, became a commentator later. He played Mungo. Slim Pickens played the main bad guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. There's a lot of people that were back then that were, pretty famous, that went on to make a lot of more movies, too. But yeah, again, absolutely great. One of the greatest, like I said, movies that stand the test of time. But again, you cannot make that movie nowadays.
No, you couldn't. Not even close, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, by far one of the most racist movies I've ever seen.
I think the word, I don't want to say the word. I think the N-word's thrown around 100 times throughout that movie.
That N-word's thrown around more than anywhere in, South Side Los Angeles or something, man.
I remember, yeah, my favorite quote I can't repeat. I don't want to repeat. Not on public radio or podcast.
Oh man, it's just some of the different things. That's where the whole thing, the badges. We don't need no stinking badges. That's where that came from.
Yep.
The part where they're dressed up as where they're getting the KKK.
Yeah.
Where are the white women? Come on, man! All that stuff is hilarious. And that's the thing nowadays. Back then, they made movies like this. Nobody cared. The world wasn't too sensitive. It was funny. I mean, the movie made just bank in the theaters for its time.
Right.
I mean, it made, I think, like $6-7 million in the theaters, which is phenomenal for back in 1974.
Right.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
When people were still making a quarter an hour.
Yeah. Now we're making 50 cents an hour.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing, man. We've become so sensitive nowadays that you can even begin to make any films like this nowadays.
No.
And it's just that it's a sad thing because you'll never see stuff like this in our lifetime again.
Yeah.
And of course, with Gene Wilder gone anyway, you're never going to see nothing like that anyway.
No. My favorite movie by him was Young Frankenstein.
Another great movie and another quotable movie.
Yeah, I love that movie, Young Frankenstein, because he was trying to separate Frankenstein,
and his sidekick Igor.
Yeah, Igor. So it was pretty cool, and Marty Feldman is the one who played Igor.
Mm-hmm. And again, another myriad of actors in there too. You got Terry Garr plays the young up and coming actress who played the
Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle played the Frankenstein's monster. Cloris Leachman, Frau Blucher. Madeline Kahn, she was in that. She was also in Blazing Saddles. So, yeah, I mean, just it seemed like Mel Brooks used a lot of the same people around the same area.
Yeah, and this is another one of Gene's co-writes with Mel Brooks.
Yes, I remember him talking about that. He come up with the idea while he was on the set of Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
He came up, he's like, hey, I want to do this. And Mel's like, great, let's do it. At this time, I think when Mel was raking in the money, he didn't care. Everything was golden.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great movie. It came out in 1974. I don't know if I said that, but it's another one that's going to stand the test of time. And you're seeing a trend here with Gene Wilder's movies that they're going to be rewatched for decades.
Oh, yeah. In fact, they just, after he passed, they put all the movies in the Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. They are in the theaters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. I'd love to go and watch them. And I think I would love to go watch them, not just the actual watch them, which I would, don't get me wrong, but just to see how many people actually showed up for those movies.
Right. Probably not that many.
I would love to go watch just to see, especially a movie like Blazing Saddles. That's so...
Well, I think we missed out on our opportunity to see Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. But I would just like to have seen how many people went and watched it in the theaters.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein, I think, goes to theaters October 8th or something like that.
Yeah, 5th or 8th, something like that. First week of October.
Yeah, first week of October.
Which I think it's playing at AMC, isn't it?
Yes.
Didn't I tell you?
Yeah,
so if you guys want to check it out, Destin AMC, playing up there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Young Frankenstein, you're missing out.
Yes,
I mean, it is black and white, but it was done that way on purpose. I mean, the color existed then.
It made it noir, like a noir film.
Yeah. So it was worth it. Excuse me. So did I miss any movies that he did before?
There's lots of movies.
1974.
I mean, he was done whatever. He did. I told you the one he did in 1970. Start the Revolution Without Me. It's basically like A Tale of Two Cities. He was a poor pauper guy and the rich prince or whatever. They swapped places during the French Revolution. So one of those typical movies been done. He was in the 1967 version of Bonnie and Clyde with Faye Dunaway and why am I drawing a blank? Warren Beatty.
Yeah, he was the hostage.
Yeah, he was the hostage.
Which that was actually his first role.
That was his actually first acting film role.
Right.
So his first actual starring role was The Producers.
Yeah.
So he played in a few other ones. He was The Little Prince, which I don't know if anyone knows who that is. It's a little kid's storybook about a kid who travels and he finds animals they talk to him anyway. He played a fox in there. He also did a movie. well, that one's after Blazing Saddles, but Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes and his smarter brother.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother.
Yep. And another movie I tried to watch, but I couldn't find anywhere. It was for rent, but I'm a cheapskate. I didn't want to pay $3.99 and rent it. So
This is Gene Wilder we're talking about here.
it was on DirecTV. I was gonna watch it. I had it in there. I was clicking on the button, and then it popped up and it said $3.99, and I sighed and I exited out. I can't help it. I'm a cheapskate.
Hey, read the book then. It's free probably somewhere. Oh, wait, that's right.
Why are you cursing at me? You always curse at me. I swear, every show you curse at me. Always bringing up this word you say, read. Read.
The next one after that is where he started with his little tandem with Richard Pryor,
Yeah, Silver Streak.
Silver Streak,
Yeah,
which seemed kind of more of a serious role to him, I would think, than some of the other stuff. The other stuff seemed more slapstick,
yeah,
where this one was more, it was comedy, but it was more serious comedy. You know, it had some serious moments in it, which I thought Silver Streak was a great movie anyway.
yeah. It was a good movie.
It's basically he goes on a train to follow some girl, and Richard Pryor is some
Ex-con.
kind of ex-con or something.
Yeah, Gene, he plays George Caldwell. He gets kicked off the train by the guy who played Jaws in 007.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either.
But the big guy throws him off the train, and he gets arrested for killing somebody, and then he gets broken out of jail by Richard Pryor, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Which and they got to get back on the train to try and find these guys and stop them, and then it's the train.
It's another movie that wouldn't be made today either, because they did the whole blackface thing. That would not be allowed today.
Yeah, no.
They
Everyone's so
shoe polished
sensitive nowadays.
Gene's face black so that he could pass as
They
a
Al
brother.
Jolsoned him.
Yeah. So,
But it was a really good movie too, I thought, and of course the name of the train was the Silver Streak as well. It's supposed to be the fastest train out there, but he did a couple other little ones, some in between there. World's Greatest Lover, where he played kind of a Don Juan style character. I believe it was kind of more of a, I don't know how to describe it. I know he was quoted in saying he didn't really care too much for making that movie.
right.
So, but it was. I remember watching it a long time ago, and it was okay. It was, in my opinion, not one of his better ones, but he still managed to pull it out all right.
And then the next popular one he did, I think, was Stir Crazy, where he played Skip Donahue in 1980.
Yeah, that's where again him and Richard Pryor,
Yep.
where he was falsely accused, went to prison with Richard Pryor,
Yep.
and then basically trying to get out of there.
Yeah. And they did this whole rodeo thing, and
One before that though, I was telling you about was the Frisco Kid.
oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
He played a rabbi out in the West and met up with actually Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford played like a gunfighter, went to kind of help him. It's just basically him trying to get to it, I think to his church or build a church or something is what the synopsis of it. And he gets caught up by Indians, gunfighters, stuff like that, just him surviving through there. So it's a pretty good little entertaining movie.
And then another popular one he did, The Woman in Red. He played Teddy Pierce. I did not see that movie, but I heard
Kelly
it was
LeBrock.
pretty good. I heard it was pretty good.
That's one of Kelly LeBrock's first movies, so it's, if anyone knows who Kelly LeBrock is.
No. I probably do.
She was actually married to Steven Seagal for a while.
Oh, okay.
She was in his second movie, Hard to Kill, and where she was, I don't know if you've ever seen Hard to Kill.
Yep.
She was the nurse that broke him out.
Yeah.
Or one of the more famous ones she's been in was Weird Science.
Oh, really?
She was
Okay.
the woman they created,
Gotcha.
Kelly LeBrock.
Oh, see, I did know her. Weird Science was a great movie.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Then my second favorite movie by him was Haunted Honeymoon.
Which he starred with his wife.
Yep, he stars with his wife, Gilda Radner.
Um,
Yeah,
Basically, they're TV or radio entities. They do a show, and they get married, go off to a actual house that's supposedly haunted or whatnot.
Yeah.
And what confused me in that movie was the fact it's like it's almost like what they did on the radio show was what they were doing in the house.
Yeah. The show is really weird because it cuts like they're going to go to this house for their marriage or whatever. But then all of a sudden at the end, when they solve the crime, the brother, it immediately flashes back to him and her, Gilda Radner, in the studio again, talking about what just happened. So like it never really happened.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. I don't think it really ever happened. It just they were doing a radio show and they just showed us
I guess
what
it's
the radio
basically
show
a
was.
visualization of the radio show that they did.
Yeah. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Dom DeLuise was hilarious in it.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious and everything.
Rest his soul too.
Yeah. Next one after that, another Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor.
See no evil, hear no evil.
Which, truth be told, man, I think that was the best one he's ever done with Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah, I agree.
He kind of goes back to his almost slapstick roots a little bit in that.
Yeah.
You know? Even though of course he's a little more up there in age or whatever, but basically the synopsis of it is Gene Wilder's death. He could read lips, sort of, and
Right.
And Richard Pryor's blind. They end up becoming friends, get involved in a little crime caper, and you know, it's the antics that follow in it. It's funny. You know, Richard Pryor trying to drive.
Yeah.
So,
It was hilarious.
but yeah, it was pretty funny.
And this is actually Kevin Spacey's in this movie too. This is actually his third role. He plays the villain that gets killed
Yeah.
by I forget the character's name, but he plays the French guy with the mustache that's with the girl.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite quote from this movie is Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder are talking about their ex-wives or whatever, and Richard Pryor asked Gene Wilder how his wife was. She nice, and she said he was really nice until one day my wife turned into a creature who would sit on a broomstick and fly away. I love that. That made me bust out laughing so hard.
Oh, and just to watch Gene Wilder try to read lips was funny too.
Oh yeah. Man, that's another movie you guys should watch.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you haven't watched a bunch of Gene, hopefully we're talking to an audience that has watched a bunch of Gene Wilder movies. But if not, you need to check them out.
It's a good time to do it.
Mm-hmm. But like you were talking about, Gene, he did many plays on Broadway in London. Was there any more movies you wanted to talk about?
He had a couple other ones. Funny About Love, and then his last one he did with Richard Pryor was Another You.
I didn't see that one. I gotta check that one out.
Yeah, that kind of wound up his movie career after that, around early 1990s. He did a couple of little things here and there, and he did do a lot of, like you said, a lot of Broadway shows, a lot of stage acting.
Yeah.
I think what was really good about him is the fact that he never, like once he became an actor and was pretty well known, he never really gave that up. He always went back to it and did things with it.
Right.
Which is pretty awesome. It's kind of like staying with your roots.
I wanted to just go over some of his awards he won. Like I said, he won an Academy Award in 1968 for Best Supporting Actors of the Producers. He won a Golden Globe in 1971 for Best Actor for Willy Wonka. He won an Academy Award for Writing for the movie Young Frankenstein.
Which I think he should have got an Academy Award for Willy Wonka myself. But.
Yeah, I agree. And then 2003, he won an Emmy for Outstanding Guest on the Will and Grace Show. That was his only Emmy.
Nice.
But for the actor that he was, I don't think he was appreciated enough during his time, as far as awards, and he did some pretty good movies, and I think he was just underappreciated.
Yeah, I don't think that he I mean, when you look at like a list of names, you put a list of names out there. You put like, I don't know.
Don't say Tom Cruise. Don't say Tom Cruise.
I mean, just you throw just names out, and I'm just kind of spitballing here, like Bruce Willis or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or names that that stick out. Like, oh my God, yeah. And you're like Gene Wilder, and like you said, I don't think he was appreciated enough. You get all these people who make these films nowadays, these just massive blockbuster movies or whatever, where they get all the digital effects and all the whatever explosions, or even comedies nowadays that are just whatever nowadays that are just, they get all the talent and the effects and everything else they need. But back then he didn't have all that.
No, he had to go on his sense of humor and his supporting actors' sense of humor alone. I mean, they had to carry the movies. They didn't have explosions and
just like in Blazing Saddles, where it showed him fighting through the he was on a set of basically cardboard cutouts and stuff like that. He didn't have houses out in the middle, or things he can do, or buildings he can film stuff in, things like that. Stuff like that. What he did in his time frame, I think, is way better than what anyone does now. Because, like we were saying, he had what he had to work with, and he utilized it. Right,
I agree, and that kind of ties in with his last interview that he gave, where he talks about the reason he gave up acting was because films have become more about bombs and explosions and loud noises, and there wasn't another nice film out there that he would wanted to do.
And I truly believe there isn't.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the films that come out. I love a lot of the new films that come out, the Captain Americas and the Guardians of the Galaxies, and even the more intricate ones. You got like the Doctor Strange, and of course those are just a lot of Marvel movies. But
yeah, but a lot of these movies don't come down to one actor or two actors carrying the whole film.
No,
they have special effects, and they have other tools at their hands to help them succeed in these films. That's why they're grossing such high dollars at the box office.
Oh yeah, yeah. But see, even back then, like it cost $1 million to make Blazing Saddles, and the movie made like $7 or $8 million. That's back then. That's unheard of. Nowadays, it costs someone $80 million to make a film.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't make it at least 3 times the amount, the film's a bomb.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to make a movie $700-800 million, what you made off that movie or whatever.
Like our Ghostbusters movie, only making like 200 million worldwide or something like that, and they're considering that a bomb. That's a crap ton of money.
It is.
Now, I might be wrong on the figures. I just threw that out of my butt.
And you were talking about too, like movies like that. The movie's supposed to be based around the main characters of Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, correct?
Right.
The ones created.
Yeah.
But yet, to me, Kate McKinnon stole the show.
I agree.
And that's just but at the same time, without Melissa McCarthy or whoever else in there, you would have never.
That is my dog. Just throwing that out there. Without Melissa McCarthy, sorry.
But without Melissa McCarthy or Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon would have never been able to feed off of them.
Right.
So, and that's what we're talking about nowadays, about how it takes a whole team of people or whatever. You can't have a movie nowadays, unless you're Tom Hanks, where you can do the whole thing by yourself.
Yeah, just don't ever travel with Tom Hanks. If you haven't seen that meme, that's a good meme. Yeah. The man's he's made a career off of just not dying in crashes and strandings and all kinds of stuff.
Which, don't get me wrong, I think that, Gene Wilder had a great supporting cast in any movie he was in. But
yeah,
like you said though before, he can feed off of those a lot better than just casting the right person, because no one knew who Cleavon Little was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No one even heard of him.
No,
until that movie came out.
No, I didn't.
I know he's been in a few other roles and stuff too, but.
And did I look at any of his other roles? No.
But I'm saying, have you heard of anything he's done since then.
No.
You see what I'm saying? And even now, like in Young Frankenstein, you got pretty big actors: Cloris Leachman, Terry Garr, stuff like that. But again, you look at them, and how many movies can you pick out that had all them in it?
Not many.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But yet you can name a dozen Gene Wilder movies.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's just those things that just stick out to you. That's just kind of the point I make.
I agree. I mean, that's pretty much all I got for Gene Wilder. I mean, he's a legend and a hero. At least a hero in making me laugh, I should say.
And that's the type of movies. And even my kid, he's 16. He loves them. He watches them all the time.
Well, that's good. He's raised right.
Yeah, he cracks up every time he watches them. And that's good. And I think, given the opportunity, show them to your kids. I know they're a little crass and a little bad for nowadays standards, but you can show them, say, hey, this is what they made back then. They're still great. Whether they're
I'm not
racist
afraid
or
to
whatever.
show my kids that stuff. I don't censor my kids.
I mean, I'd rather show my kid that than show them someone just like getting drilled in the head and exploding or something,
Like Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, well.
Or Attack on Titan. Or Death Note. All that stuff that I let my kids watch, which I probably shouldn't, but I do. So, do you have a quote to send us out today, Chris?
I do have a quote, and this quote was actually by Gene Wilder, so we're going to do this one. He says, I trust if your life is right, the right thing will happen at the right time. If the chords are in harmony inside, I think other things will happen in the same way. That sounded highfalutin to me once, but I believe it now.
It's a good quote.
It's a very good quote, and I think that's a good way to end it. I appreciate Gene Wilder, everything he's done, all the beauty and comedy and laughs he's given us, and I'll continue to keep watching him until my time comes.
Right. I hear you, me too. And just want to say, don't forget to like us on Facebook. If you haven't already, follow us on YouTube. Make sure to give us a thumbs up if you like what we've done here today for you.
Yep.
If not, I don't want to hear about it.
And don't forget to share on Facebook too.
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, we have lots of friends. We have lots of views, but I don't think we get the shares that we could get if we all participated and helped us out.
Only takes one click. One click.
Just press your finger right over the share button and press share. Pretty easy.
We got we're going to do just a little recap next week, aren't we?
Yeah.
We got some new things coming up we'll talk about probably next week.
Yeah, we'll dive into that stuff next week when we're talking. I mean, it'd be a good show to bring up new stuff.
Yes.
Because it's a recap show, so.
Yep.
So just look for us next week, and thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot. Bye.